Hello, everybody. You're on the mic, and on today's episode, I'm going to take a slight little detour from the cartoon studio profiles that I was doing. Just one day because we did have some news come out over the weekend. Some update on some of the Vic Mignogna situation. So, without no further ado, let's get to that. Um, So as I was saying, we have some Vic updates. So we're going to push back the cartoon studio profiles, a day basically to, do some Vic updates here today. As reported by Come Geek Some and Hero Hey, Vic has filed his second extension request for to give him more time to, um, first off to respond to um, for his cross appellee response to um, Monica and Ron's cross appeal for the fees, and also for his reply to the appellee's response briefs. Um, that request has been made to extend for I think June 21st. It was initially due the first extension, which had been granted, was initially due the briefs were due this Wednesday, the 20th. But you know, we found out over the weekend that Vic had asked for an extension to June, which, from what I understand, he might get it. This is according to Nick, of course, and Nick. This is not necessarily unusual for this type of thing, especially with what's going on right now. We've also heard, and obviously with Ty having a firm right now, of course, with the pandemic going on, they have to work with less staff. Also, I think, as I recall, about a month ago during one of Nick's streams, Ty had acknowledged that Jim Bullock had left the firm, so Ty's had to take over. So they've had, and being that they are a firm, that it's not, Vic's case is not the only case they're working on, too. So you take all that into account. So has asked for an extension to June, I believe it's June 19th or 21st, I believe. Um, but basically asking for another month in order to give them enough time to try to, respond and reply to the responses from the other side. Um, Also, Ron had a bit of an interesting interview over the weekend with Crestside from of course KitchenerCon fame and Mr. Hop. Um, Basically, okay. I know Come Geek Some is gonna cover the interview in parts. He did a part one. I know Hero Hey had also covered a little bit. Basically, so apparently, what Ron wants now is for Vic to once again give him an apology and for him to basically just settle the lawsuit in typical self-absorbed narcissistic sociopathic um, manner. you know, Ron just wants everybody just to forget everything and move on, but that's just not going to happen. You made this bed, now you're going to lie in it. So, um, and that's all I'll basically say on it. I mean, we've said everything that needs to be said. As you notice, I don't even really talk too much about Vic stuff unless it's an update on the case or something like that. Just simply because of the fact, the hearing for the umpteenth time one of Kick Vickers trying to convince everybody why Vic is what they say he is with no hard proof. You know, I think everybody just knows that's a load of baloney. So, um, well, with that being said, I think that's about as much as I need to say on all that. Just the big piece of news is that Vic has asked for another extension. I believe he'll end up getting it for until June. He may have already gotten it, just they just didn't make it clear on the other ones. I think Hero Hate somewhat made it clear, but I think basically he will probably end up getting the extension. So now, with that being said, let's move on to something a little bit more happier. This day in each history today, of course, being May 18th, 2020. Let's see what happened on this day in the you know in each history in the world of anime, cartoon, comics, and manga. And pro wrestling. So first off, we head back 25 years ago today. On this date in 1995, um, among their many titles, Valiant Publishing would release the 35th issue of Bloodshot, Rampage Lives. On this date in 1995, they would release the 35th issue of um, Bloodshot number 35, the 35th issue of Bloodshot. So that happened on this date in 1995. Let's see. Then, on this date in 2000, 20 years ago today, um, the Cosmic Warrior Zero video game was released on this date in, in 2000. It would eventually be, the following year, it would become, the anime would be released. But on this date in 2000, the Cosmic Warrior Zero game was released on this date, 2000, 20 years ago today. Let's see. And on this date, 5 years ago today, 2015, coming off of WWE Payback, um, the WWE would on this issue of Monday Night Raw on the April 18th, 2015 edition of Monday Night Raw from the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia. They would lay the groundwork for the Elimination Chamber, setting up, of course, an Elimination Chamber match to fill the vacant United States Heavyweight Championship that was vacated by Daniel Bryan, because of injury, setting up a bit of a heated battle with Ryback and Sheamus, in which Ryback lost. Um, suffering his second consecutive loss in 2 nights. Also on the card, Dean Ambrose would lose to Bray Wyatt, but would get his WWE Championship title match set up for for um, for the Elimination Chamber. The New Day would retain their WWE WWE Tag Team Championships via DQ loss over Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, in a match that ended up turning into like a big tag team melee that would be used as part of a setup to set up the Elimination Chamber Tag Championship match for later on in the month of 31st. John Cena would go to a no contest with Kevin Owens, defending the WWE. Okay, I'm sorry. I believe that was the Intercontinental Champion that was set up for, not the. So it was actually Daniel Bryan was having to surrender or vacate the Intercontinental Championship because John Cena was the United States Championship at this time, in which he fought to a no contest with Kevin Owens, the NXT champion, who really wasn't interested at that time in trying to become the U.S. champion because he was preparing for a match on the NXT Takeover event, which he would have to defend the NXT title. Brie Bella retained her WWE Divas Championship from Naomi, and that's pretty much a lot of the big matches and the big stuff that talked about on this date in 2015. So with all that being said, this one's obviously going to be a shorter one than the ones have been of recently, but you guys can check the link below if you want to contact me directly. You can DM me on my Discord. You can check out the Discord and join if you'd like. I'm also still promoting a bunch of different dub companies. I'm also still promoting the GoFundMe of Vic's GoFundMe, as well as the latest Indiegogo project from that Umbrella guy. So wanting to give his daughter something to show her in comics and doing an independent and wanting to give his daughter, that exposure into comics and stuff like that. That Umbrella guy launched the sequel to The Case of the Littlest Umbrella with another case for the Littlest Umbrella, starring him and his daughter, Little Umbrella Girl, Tug and Lug. So you guys might want to check that out. The link down below. If you guys want to check that out and see if you want to contribute. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If it's on your heart to do so and you have the means to do so, please consider donating. If you have already donated, please consider donating again. And if you can't donate, you can still help out the cause by sharing the link. Because sharing is caring, and you never know, maybe somebody of your circle of friends may want to help out. And as I said before, I'll be continuing the cartoon studio profiles tomorrow. With the Vic stuff that came out over the weekend, needed to cover that a bit. So we'll get back to the more fun stuff of talking about some old cartoon studios and some of the stuff that people my age, who are like around my age, grew up on. So, and maybe even those of you a little bit older too. So, and don't forget the latest. I also have the latest episode of Voices Big and Small done. I'll be premiering this Friday at 5 o'clock. This week I'll be doing Calgary-based voice actor Lucas Gilbertson. I hope to catch you all there at the premiere. And until tomorrow, bye.